Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lesson 21 of Unit 5, which is our final math lesson for the whole year, which is exciting and also really weird because I didn't feel like we were going to end this fast, but it just makes sense. The last lesson isn't really necessary. It's just like optional, and so we'll do this, and then you'll have a study guide Monday, and I'll probably upload a video like explaining the study guide versus just putting it up, and that might help people. And then your test will be pretty much word problems of the mostly just using those formulas to solve. I'm gonna try to make it not super tricky, but you're gonna have to really explain like all the other ones. So. Okay, so the first slide here is just the volume of what is this? Sphere. Formula, which is this. Remember the sphere thing? Draw your oval, draw your dashed line, draw your solid line. Okay. That looks weird. Looks like a weird face. Anyway, it's supposed to be a sphere. Okay, so for lesson 1, it says 4 different students calculated the volume of a sphere with a radius of 9 if they got 4 different answers. Wait, and they got 4 different answers. Okay. So going back up here, that's your formula. So you go volume equals 4 over 3 pi r cubed. They give us 9. Okay. So we want to find out what the volume is. Cool. That's easy. So we're just going to plug it in, right? So we're going to go from here, and then volume equals 4 over 3 pi times 9 cubed. I should know what 9 cubed is, but I don't know anymore. Okay, 9 times 9 times 9, 729. Okay, so 729 times pi times 4/3. So it looks like they left pi in a couple of the answers. I'm going to leave it for now, just to kind of like eliminate some of them. So 4/3 times 729. So the easiest way to do, like, for people who get mixed up with fractions, it's just easier to make it all a fraction. So a whole number is always over 1, right? And then you just multiply across. Some people like do weird things like diagonal. The diagonal stuff, that's if you're cross-canceling, right? Like, say 729 is divisible by 3, which I think it is, then you could be like, oh, I'm going to cross out the 3 and make that a 1, and cross out 729 and make that a 243. And then it's easier, then you just do 243 times 4 instead of, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Hate these ads. Go away. No. What was I doing? 243 times 4, you get 972. 970, where am I? I mean blue. That is 972 with pi. Oh, and that's this one. So I guess just, be able to use a formula and just apply it to like a word problem. If you can do that, that's pretty much all algebra is going to be. If you're good at memorizing things and applying formulas, you're going to love algebra. So this is, even though it feels like it's geometry because of the shapes and stuff, the formula part of it is algebra. It's really not that hard. You just put in what you know, right? There's There's only so many ways you can have an unknown when there's only 2 letters, just V and R. Activity 2, they give you a sphere. They say the volume is 288 pi. This statement is true. They put it into the formula to make it easy for you. And now they're asking us, what is R? So we're just doing this backwards. So if we start with this, we can go multiply the whole thing by 3, multiply the whole thing by 3. So that goes away. 288 times 3, clear, is 864. So I get 864 pi equals 4r cubed pi. I divide by 4 pi. The reason why I'm dividing by pi too is because remember when you divide one thing that's the same, you divide something that's the same on both sides of the equal sign, it goes away. So whenever you have a problem that has pi on both sides like this, which is I think pretty much only gonna, for the most part, will only happen with sphere or like volume problems when they're giving you the volume and you're trying to find like the height or the radius or whatever. Just kind of be aware that it's going to cancel itself out on both sides. You can just do that in your head, or you can do what I'm doing. Just for people who are like getting tripped up because they see you dividing by pi, it's not complicated. It just cancels out, right? The 4's go away, the pi's go away, the pi's go away. And then you're just left with 864 divided by 4, which is 216. Now I got it. So 216 is r cubed. Remember, you're taking the cube, or you're like rooting it, but by 3, I guess, if that makes sense. Or you can think of it as like, what number times itself 3 times is that number? So the cube root looks like this. So I don't know if that's like a function on a I wonder how this works. If you have one of those Texas Instrument like basic scientific calculators, those are the best and they're super easy to use. I guess I have cube root, so I think what I do is I type in the number, which is 216, and then see cube root. If you go 1, 2, 3 rows down and 1, 2 over, I hit cube root and I get 6. Do you see the little symbol? I can't draw on this because it's not in the app thing for drawing, but it's 6. You can also just look at it and start like picking random numbers and just being like 5 times 5 times 5, 6 times 6 times 6, and eventually you should get a number. They're not going to give you a problem like this and not have it work out, if that makes sense. So r equals 6, and you're done. So remember, that's because 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. Okay. Anyways, don't be afraid by the cube root and things like that. Those are super, super easy, and you just plug it into your calculator. You don't have to do anything in your head. For this last problem, it's pretty much, it's a good, I guess, idea of what will show up on your test. It's just taking all of the different volume formulas and applying them to little word problems. So I put this page up. You guys can do whatever, take a picture, screenshot of the page and save it or print it or whatever. It'll help you on your test. And it just gives a picture of what each shape is, what its name is, and what its formula is. I mean, you're at home, so obviously most of you would just look at formulas to help you out anyways. In high school, some teachers let you use an index card of formulas. Some teachers just give you the formula. Some want you to memorize it. I mean, I don't know, it just depends. I can't really say what it's going to be like next year for most of you, but once you get the hang of it, they're pretty easy to remember. So this one is written weird. This is just 1/3 pi r squared times height. They wrote it weirdly. It's the same thing, right? Dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying everything by 1/3. Okay. So they give you this picture and they say a cylinder with a diameter of 3 centimeters, height 8, is filled with water. Decide which figures could hold all of the water from the cylinder. So the first thing you have to do, and what they don't tell you about this problem, is that you need to know the volume of the cylinder in the picture first before anything else. They don't tell you, they just give you all these 4 problems, and a lot of you are going to start solving and then be like, what do I reference it to? You have to come up with that number, so we're going to do that. We'll do maybe 1 or 2 of the others, and then you do the rest. So volume is pi r squared height. So radius is, they're going to make it stupid and they're going to make us use a decimal. That's fine. So half of 3 is 1.5, right? So this radius would be 1.5. So 1.5 squared, and height is 8. Okay, so then I get 1.5 times 1.5, that's just 3, times 8, which is 24 pi. Okay, so that's the volume of your, what is this, cylinder. This one. This cylinder. Now you have all these other cylinders. Or not cylinders, one is a cylinder. They're all different shapes, actually. A cone, a rectangular prism, and a sphere. So you use all of these formulas, and you just plug in, the numbers. Super easy. Okay, so let's look at this one. We'll do this here. I'll do different colors. A cone with a height of 8 centimeters and a radius of 3. So I think a cone is the 4/3 or the 1/3 formula. 1/3 pi r squared times height. 1/3 pi r squared times height. Okay, so radius is 3 and height is 8. So 1/3 pi 3 squared times 8. So 1/3 pi times 9 times 8. Oh gosh, what is 9 times 8? 72? That's really bad and embarrassing that I don't know that anymore. Phew, I do know it. 72. Okay. 72 pi 1/3. So don't worry about the pi. You just divide 72 by 3, which is, I think, 12. No, 24. I was halfway there. So then this ends up being 12 pi. Am I missing anything? No. So if this is 12 pi, that would be a no. So no, that would not work. That is not enough. So then you'd go and do your next one. Almost looks like A's colors, but not quite. This is also a cylinder. So now we've got a diameter of 6 and a height of 2. Of course, they're going to mix up the numbers so much that you can't just guess. What was that formula again? See, even I don't have these memorized anymore. Okay, pi r squared height. Pi r squared times height. Okay. What was the diameter of 6? So radius is 3. And just be careful, like they're going to be super tricky about their language because that's what they like to do on standardized tests. So they do it here too. Diameter, you know, they say diameter here, but here they say radius. So they're like trying to trick you, thinking you're reading fast and you're not going to remember to make that radius. So just like slow down and really read. So if diameter is 6, right, that means radius is 3 because it's half. So pi times 3 squared times height. Height is 2. That's 9. 2 and 9 times 2 is 18. So we do not have a match. That is 18 pi. Or would it fit inside of it? Was that what the question was? If any could hold all of the water from the cylinder. Oh, well, that's a no. That means it would have to be 24 or more, right? I hope that makes sense. So for 3 and 4, you do the same exact thing. And then if you get 24 or bigger, so if you get 24 or 25 or 26 or 50 or whatever, then you're going to say yes, because it could hold all 24, if that makes sense. But now I'm thinking I messed something up with the cone. Radius was 3, height was h. So then it's 3 squared times 8, which is 9 times 8. You know what? I totally messed up on this one. We had the answer on the calculator, and then I wanted the answer that I thought it was, which was not 12. It was 24. So that one is actually yes. I'm really sorry. See, that's what happens when you always want to be right. This is 24. Calculator was beating me on that. So that would be yes, right? Because it's the same. It can hold it. Just hold it. That would be yes. But the other one is 18 pi. Since the volume is equal to 18 pi, it would hold all the water from the cylinder. Explain your reasoning. It would not be able to hold all the water. So it depends on, I keep thinking about the way they're asking this. If they're saying, could the cylinder in number 2 fit inside of the cylinder in the picture? Yes. If it's saying, could the cylinder in number 2 hold all of the water in the picture, it would be no. And it says, could it hold all the water from the cylinder? So I'm going with no. Anyways, you do the same thing with 3 and 4, except you're using this formula and this formula instead to solve for those two. And actually, you know what? Let's just do them now because that's a good review for your test. This is going to be a long video. Okay. Yeah, we'll just solve them. Why not? Okay. This is going to get messy. So 3 is a rectangular prism, which I actually could probably just do right here. So that's just length times width times height. And they say it's a length of 3, width of 4, height of 8. So 3 times 4 times 8. And 3 times 4 times 8 is something... 3 times 4 times 8. 96. 96. Is it 96 by the... So for this one, what we'd want to do is do 24 pi... 24 times pi to see what that is. That's 75. So that's 96, but I just have a feeling that I did something wrong on this, because more of these should be yes, because that's usually how this book is. What do? We did r squared, 1.5 squared times 8. 9 over 1.5 squared. 1.5 times 1.5. Oh, well, there was the problem. Trying to think I can do math in my head, which I can't always do. This is wrong. This is 2.25 times 8. I think this will only change a couple of things. So 2.25 times 8. 2.25 times 8 is 18 pi. Ha! I had a feeling it was going to be a more friendly number. So now this changes some things. Okay. So the first one was 24. Yes. The 18 would fit inside the 24, and 18 and 18 are the same thing. So that one would be yes. Now we've got the 96, which we will do 18. If we did 18 times pi, we'd get 56. So that would be a yes. And then a sphere with a radius of 2 centimeters. So my last one, sphere with a radius of 2. So 4/3 pi r cubed. 4/3 pi times 2 cubed. And that's 2 times 2 times 2. Like this, 4 times 2, that's 8. It's 4/3 pi times 8. 32 divided by 3. Let's just multiply it to be safe, since I'm making lots of simple mistakes right now. 4 times 8 divided by 3. No, not times. Ugh. 4 times 8 divided by 3. Whoa, okay. Well, 10.6, that's not a friendly number, but there we go. 10.6. 6 pi. So that one, because it is less than 18 pi, that would be no. So the whole thing here was to simplify this for people who've gone on this long journey with me and haven't skipped or fast forwarded or turned off a video because of all of my mistakes. The whole point was, if it is 18 pi or greater, it's yes, because it could hold all of the water in that picture. But if it was less than 18 pi, it could not hold all of the water. So just imagine, like, you have a big glass of water, then you have all these other glasses, like, which glasses will hold all the water in the glass? That's pretty much what this question was asking. Okay, that was all. As always, if you need help, 11:35, send me a message, and you will get your study guide on Monday. Have a good weekend.